Without further ado, we do have a special guest that's joining us, Mr. Ramon Frias, out of Coral Springs, with this office located in Plantation, Florida. The struggle is real. We empathize with Mr. Ramon. They're having to live a Florida lifestyle, but hey, somebody's got to do it. But you know what's going to be really cool, and it's kind of like the last guest that we had. I didn't really know an awful lot about our guest speaker, and as far as the history, their background, why they're here, their success story, and it was a lot of fun for me, and it was raw, and it was very natural, and really the same holds true with Ramon. So let me kind of give some dialogue as I make my introduction here. Ramon is somebody who I've been following now on Facebook for a little over a year now. Now, he's part of the Blake group, Doug Blake, down in Florida, which if you don't know who Doug Blake is in the Blake group, then you're just not paying attention. That's all I'm going to say. What their group, their agency, has been doing, and it is doing, is exciting. It's infectious. And I tell you, when you observe what they're doing, and the camaraderie, the success, the fellowship, the mountains of fun that they're having, man, I tell you what, you want to be a part of that group, and that's the culture that they have created. Well, Ramon is a big part of that. So every week I watch this guy when they have their weekly calls, and they do it more video conference style, kind of like what we do, but they have a camera that's kind of in the room as it's focused in on Ramon and their guest, and everybody can be a part of that is way outside of their office. And I tune in on a lot of those. And so when I tell you guys, you're talking about somebody who's fun, exciting, who's passionate, who's driven, that's who we have on the line this morning. Without really knowing too much about this guy's story, all I know is this guy bleeds senior life, bleeds final expense, and bleeds success. That's what I know about Ramon. So without further ado, I would like to give a warm welcome to Ramon Frias. Good morning, Ramon.
Good morning, man. Rusty, what an introduction. I certainly appreciate that, and I appreciate you having me on your call this morning. You are a superstar and a champion, and I couldn't be more honored and excited to be on the call this morning. So thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate that.
My pleasure. So, Ramon, here's how I would like to kick off this morning's call is I would like to just have you to first share with the group a little background on yourself, about your background, your family, your former life prior to final expense, what you were doing before you tapped into the insurance market, how that kind of came about with coming into final expense, leading you to where you're currently at. So I know it's kind of a loaded question, but if you could just kind of give us a little bit of background on yourself, I think that'd be a good way to get started.
Absolutely, I can certainly do that. Well, Rusty, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from the Dominican Republic. That's where I was born. Came to the United States when I was 15 years old, and I spoke no word in English, not 1 ounce. And coming to America, I realized this is the land of opportunity. So, I went to high school, graduated high school. Unfortunately, I lost my dad when I was only 16. So obviously, here I am, 1 year in the United States, not knowing much of what to do or how to figure things out. But obviously, I was able to do that by going to work really, really hard, work every odd job you can think of, graduated high school, went to college, wasn't for me, dropped out, and went to work different jobs, and including I became a musician for years, traveled the world, and around 21, I started developing a thirst for becoming an entrepreneur. So, I sold everything you can think of. Pots and pans, network marketing, advertising. I sold a lot of things, been in sales for a long time. And I also had jobs, so always work all my life. The work has been there all my life. And so, around the age of 24, I met my beautiful wife of 25 years, now that we're married, been together 27, have 2 amazing children, Raymond and Caroline, 25 and 19, and they're doing fantastic. We're all doing great. So, just been working hard all my life, and finally at the age of 34, I became a full-time entrepreneur. So I've been in the insurance business for about 15 years. I was doing more of the Aflac type with Allstate for 10 years. That was great, made a lot of money, grew a lot, and did quite a bit of stuff. But, things started changing and shifting. And I got out of the business for a couple of years, about 2 years, own a coffee business, but I realized that my passion is in insurance. So, you try things in life and you learn as you go. My philosophy in life is okay to fail as long as you fail forward. And you keep learning, you learn the lesson. Because that's how I look at life. Life is a gift. So, I decided to jump back into the insurance world, and I was trying to figure out what to do. And 5 years ago exactly, somebody told me, hey, do you know what final expense is? It's a great thing. I said, I don't even know what it was. 5 years ago, I didn't know what final expense was, 5.5 years ago. And a gentleman gave me a card to another company, my previous company, said, go meet with this guy and find out what they're all about. And when I came in, I said, look, I work really hard. Just tell me what to do, how I can make money here, and how I can help a lot of people. Because I love helping people. I love making money. So the gentleman said, hey, you're at the right place, because that's what we do here. We help people. We get paid fast. You get paid the next day, and you're going to make a lot of money. I said, okay, so let's go. What do I need to do? They gave me a bunch of used leads or recycle leads, and I hit the ground running. And
how long ago was this, Ramon? How many years
we're
back
looking at? This is 2014. So that's
2014. So that's when you started in final expense?
Correct.
And you stated that you've been in practicing insurance sales for 15 years. The bulk of that was with Aflac?
With Allstate, not Aflac. Similar to Aflac, but with Allstate, the worksite division. I was doing more group sales. Or meaning similar to Aflac type with corporations, small business owners, 10 to 100 lives. And I did pretty good with that, but things started changing because my relationship with the brokers, started shifting. So things just I found myself knocking, I don't want to say knocking on door, prospecting most of the time. I said, man, I need to sell, I need to write. So the way this is linked together, coming into Senior Life, I said, not Senior Life, coming to the previous company, I said, so you guys have leads? He's like, we got plenty of leads. I said, well, that's all I need. I train as I go. See, I'm one of those, I did not need to know it all. I just said, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I need to make money. Give me the leads. Well, my first full year with that company, I made over $100,000.
Wait. Repeat what you just said there.
Well, my first full year, I made $107,000 with my previous company. I had no idea what final expense was. I never knocked on a door before in my life. I thought it was weird, but I said, listen, I'm like, so I'm going to knock on somebody's door and they're going to open it up and they're going to let me in and they're going to give me a check. They go, Ramon, we're doing it all the time. I said, okay, well, then I'm doing it. If you guys are doing it, it works. I'm going to believe and trust the process and I'm going to go do it. I'm not even going to overthink it. I needed to make money. And I said, you can make $500 to $1,000 every time you write a policy. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I need to hear. I never saw anyone presenting until about 3 or 4 months in the game. I was just hungry, and I was fired up about, sitting with somebody for 45 minutes to an hour, tell them about what I did, and get paid. So I went out consistently and followed the system, and, my first full year with the company, I was able to make $107,000, and, made six figure ever since.
First year in a brand new market. Basically, so forget the fact that you have been practicing insurance for for 12 years prior, because what you were doing before is completely, it's a different solar system, it's a different universe from final expense sales. Would you agree with that?
100%. Completely.
So it's basically a brand new learning curve. You're basically starting from scratch, even though it was in the field of insurance. It was a whole new ball game. It was a different clientele. It was a different approach, different product, different system, different everything. And still, with that, what you're telling me, if I'm hearing you right, is your very first year back in 2014, you ended up making $107,000 just in your first year. That's before the back end kicked in.
That's correct.
That's awesome.
Correct.
That is awesome.
Correct. I was writing $20,000 a month.
Why? Why did you make that transition from basically group sales, group insurance sales, over to final expense? What was the main reason, if you could put your finger on it?
Well, the main reason, and Doug Blake talks about it all the time, most insurance agents spend way too much time prospecting. And I found myself with a book of business servicing that group of business, which was okay. I mean, I still get a little residual from that. But at the same time, I realized that my groups were just dying out. I used to have a relationship with brokers. They were eating me up because they were bigger than me. So now they were saying, Ramon, we don't really need, just one part of the insurance. We need the whole thing. So the big brokerage firms were just taking over. And I saw how some of my business partners were shifting because, again, the big brokerage firms were taking over. So I found myself spinning my wheels, just constantly trying to get groups, constantly saying, man, I'm spending way too much time getting groups and not making money. So I see my income dropping. I have to do something. I got to take care of my family, and I was making six-figures then, but it kept dropping. And again, I was putting way too much time. I had an office staff, prospecting, and I'm making enough money. So now I'm looking upside down. I said, I got to do something. I can't continue like this, even though I persevere and, I'm not a quitter, but sometimes, Rusty, when the horse is dead, you must dismount. It was time to move on. It was time to move on, and I was blessed enough to find this industry or this particular side of the business in final expense, and I ran with it. I'm like, you mean to tell me that I got people to talk to every day? Yeah, you knock on the door to the left, door to the right, and you talk to the neighbor, and you ask for referrals, and I can make how much? I can make $8-10 grand a month. Okay, let me go do it. That's what I did.
Ramon, let me ask you. I'm going to get a little personal here. What is your current age?
I'm 52 years old. I'm going to be 53 in February 17th, in about a month. I'm 53 going on 25.
Anybody who's got a birthday in February, that's special people because mine's the 4th. So I knew I liked you for a reason. Now I know. You just confirmed it. February, but you're still older than me.
What are you, 35, Rusty?
I'm in the later 40s now, so you beat me to the 50-mile marker, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. So 52 years young, you started a brand new career, a brand new direction, a brand new chapter in your life, basically at the age of 48. Is that accurate, or actually, no, 44?
40, yeah, pretty much. Well, if you're looking at 6 years, well, maybe like 46.
46? Okay. Mm-hmm. 46, and tell me a little bit about your group and, what it is that you're currently doing. What's your current role, and what are your goals for 2020, Ramon?
I love it, man. The goal for 2020 is to obviously continue to build the agency. I mean, my agents know how passionate I am. I tell my agents, this is what you're going to get from me. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be fair, but I'm going to be firm because I cannot sugarcoat it. This business is a grind. It's a dogfight. But if you go out and put in the time and the effort, you'll get results. Perfect example myself. I went on the field yesterday. I wrote 6 policies. Why? Because I tell them I lead by example, okay? The team, I'm just back to senior life for 10 months. The team is not where we need to be yet, but we're getting there. I mean, the goal is to do $100,000 a month by June as a team.
Whew.
Yes. We're doing 50,000 now, and it's a growing team. It's a culture, and I told them if you follow the system and you go to work every single day and you stay focused, success is inevitable. So
Amen.
the ultimate goal for this year is obviously, attempt to do the $1 million mark, and we're gonna go for it. And I'm gonna shoot for the moon and maybe a line among the stars. We have big goals, we have big dreams, and we're putting everything in place to do that. Again, they continue to push every day, no matter what. Continue to push no matter what. Whether XYZ leave, we hire more people. We're consistently hiring people, hiring agents, training agents, taking them out there until you find the champions that want to win. Because I know it's possible. If I've done it over and over and over again, just like you, Rusty, we got to keep on.
Yep.
So that's
tell you what, you're surrounded by great, and I don't just say that because it sounds good, Ramon. I say it because I mean it. From David Frias to Doug Blake to Marco, the man.
Yep.
Terralia, and all the leaders that you got, both, from the man to the top all the way to the newest agents that are just knocking out of the freaking park, like Bianca and Jennifer. You guys got a great thing down there, and we appreciate you guys. And I think I mentioned that to you guys at that leadership conference on Friday morning. You remember that? The culture that you guys have.
Yep.
We appreciate it because you guys help us to really raise the bar and really want to, take our business to the next 3 or 4 levels. That's a part of plugging in, guys. And just a side note here, you got to plug in. You just absolutely have to plug in. If you're disconnected and you don't, plug into, your group and to the leaders and to these calls and ask questions and, you remain that little silent guy over in the corner, it ain't going to work. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I agree 100%, Rusty, and that's one thing that I consistently tell my group. You have to plug in. We are like a computer or laptop. What happens if you unplug it? The battery will die out. We also die out. We got to stay plugged in. We have to stay inspired, motivated. And how do you do that? By listening to the calls. I'm one of those, Rusty, that believes that your business is going to grow to the extent that you do. So we must consistently listen to the audios and read the books. We just have to. We have to stay plugged in because our mind is incredible. To me, it could be the most destructive or the more constructive thing that we have. So everything is mindset and attitude. Your attitude have to be right in order to make this work. If you're knocking on doors and a lot of people telling you no, and you go, you know what, this crap is just not working, I'm just going to go home. You just got to stay in the game. In order to win, you got to continue to play the game and understand that we must persevere and fight through that. Because it's like magic. That last door that you knock, that's when you write your 2 deals.
Yep.
So we got to keep going. If I can give any advice, number 1, don't compare yourself to anyone. Number 2, this is a race. I mean, it's a marathon, not a race. As long as you're playing the game, you will get there in your own time. And again, you said it, most importantly, stay plugged in. Be teachable, be coachable. Follow instructions. Understand that it's up to you. When you look at yourself in the mirror, look at you and say, hey, I can do it. I'm a champion. If they're doing it, I can do it. If Rusty's doing it, I can do it.
Yep.
And just fight. Fight.
Ramon, I don't mean to go and all over the place, so my questions are in no particular order. So I want to go back a little bit to you had kind of shared a little bit about how you got started. When you started in Final Expense back in 2014, tell me a little bit more about how you got started, from the training you received primarily to the leads that you were working. I think you said you were working a lot of B and C leads, a lot of recycled leads and going out there. So tell me a little bit about the onboarding system and how you got started, and then finish it with the type of success that you had throughout the first 3, 4, 5 months in terms of production, personal production.
Gotcha. Again, I wasn't with Senior Life at the time. I was with another company. And I was just given 20 recycle leads. And I was told, go knock on the doors. Make sure you knock on 10, 15, 20 doors a day. Knock on the door to the left, the right, and ask for referrals. And that's what I did. So, we used to, it wasn't a lot of training. They said, when you knock on the door, I say, hey, my name is Ramon Frias. I'm here to provide the information you request and I come in. But then I added my own, my own, what's the word I'm looking for?
You put your own spin to it, yeah.
I was just an excitable guy. When I knock on the door, I'm like, hi, my name is Ramon. I came all the way from West Palm Beach, and I'm here to bless you. May I come in for 10 minutes? And they would come in like I was.
Hey, Tricia, you like that? I'm here to bless you. I know you heard that. Yeah. Wasn't that awesome?
It sounds familiar, right? And they would look at me like I had 3 heads, and it didn't matter to me because, you see, I wasn't going to allow their attitude dictate mine. Because sometimes you can get a little crazy out there. So I didn't care. I understood from day one that it was a numbers game. And as long as I kept going and going and going, I was going to get my results. My mindset every day, Rusty, I was like, okay, I need to sit down with at least 5 people, 5 families. That was my goal every day. Some days I hit it, some days I didn't. And my goal was to write 2 apps a day. Not 1, 2.
Right.
Because I knew that if I write 2 apps a day, right, it'll be at least 20, 30 apps of the month, which will give me my 20,000 in production.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's what I try to do. And some days I roll one out, some days I roll four, some days I roll five. The next day I didn't run anything. But I can't. If I five, I'll be like, oh, I can stay home. No, no, no. Let's go back at it again. Now
Yep.
I'm excited. I'm more inspired to write more. So my system was simple. Go knock on the leads, knock on the door to the left, to the right, the door across. So 20 leads, I made it into what, 90 leads, right? Because I did 3 or more door knocks or 5 more door knocks, and I asked for referrals. So when you put all that together, magic happened. I hit my goals. I was hitting 17, 18, 21,000, 22,000. So I was in that spot every month.
So last week we talked about goal setting, and most people say that they want to make a six-figure income. So when we talk about goal setting and proper goal setting, first of all, it really begins with how much money do you want to make? You want to make 100,000? Okay, how are you going to get there? So how are you going to get there if you know that an average, a typical policy is going to yield a certain amount of income, immediate income, then that's where you go, so how many applications? Well, really, it's 8 applications, 8 policies a week is going to yield you a six-figure income. So that breaks down, if you're going to be in the field 4 days, then you need to be writing at least 2 policies a day every day that you're out there in the field, right? You know, and so if you're going to be doing 2 policies a day, 8 policies a week, how many leads do you need to take? You know, that's also going to dictate to how many appointments or presentations or sits you're going to get in front of. So everything that you just said confirmed or validated what I had shared with the group last week, that if you want to make a six-figure income, really at the end of the day it all waters down to you need to write 2 policies a day. Now, how are you going to do that? Well, if you're going to write at least 2 policies a day, and if you got a 50% close average, then you need to be running at least, you need to get in front of and sit your butt down, get your knees under the kitchen table 4 different times, if not more, every single day that you're out there in the field, right? You know, and so how are we going to do that? And so it's all just the law of large numbers and strategizing. Make sure you've got the right game plan, and then be hyper-focused. Go out there, relentlessly focus, and make sure that you don't come home until you hit those goals. How many weeks would you say you, right out of the gate, that you were working recycled leads before you graduated to fresh, brand new leads, Ramon?
Oh, 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, give me new leads because I'm crushing these. That means the new one's going to be even better. So, you know, 2 weeks in, my manager said to me, Ramon, you're doing pretty good with these old leads, man. Wait till you get your hands in the new leads.
Right. Yep.
So, you know, I took new leads, and it's funny enough, I was like, man, I'm not getting that much results with the new leads, but he laughed because he's like, Ramon, that's just the way it is. So, but I kept taking new leads and recycling, so I combined the two. Because if I was in an area and I say, hey, let me work, let's say, West Palm Beach. Hey, Ramon, I got 12 leads there. Okay, so can you give me another 8 recycle, another 10? Because I want to go hard. You know, I want to go from 9 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. And that was my goal. And, you know, I was working 5 days a week, 6 days a week sometimes. I took Sundays off. See, because if I didn't hit my goal, that means I have to go back out there. You know, at the same time, I have to balance my family. So if I was hitting my goal in 5 days, okay, then I can maybe relax a little bit Saturday, Sunday. But if my goal wasn't met, I told my wife, hey, I'm going back out there on Saturday. Because I have a goal to meet, right? I need to write 20,000. That's my goal. I need to write 5,000 a week, 20,000 a month, like you said, well, the numbers don't lie. I knew that if I wasn't hitting my goal, I wasn't sitting with enough people. It's a numbers game. Not that I'm the best closer in the planet, but I always tell my agents this, look, guys, I understand this business. I close a lot, made a lot of money. But if you out there sitting with more people than me, most likely you're going to write more business than me.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. It's a numbers game. So don't worry whether you're perfect or not. It doesn't matter. Just go out there, be excited, follow the system, make a friend, as we said when we're sitting in front of that person, right? Paint the picture that death is certain. Close the deal. The system does it all for you. Close the deal.
So, Ramon, I try to make a lot of my questions loaded questions here, so
that's fine.
Tackle this next one to the best of your ability. What is it about your current position, your business, that you just really appreciate the most? What are some of the things? Then it could be anywhere from the agency, it could be the opportunity, it could be the product, it could be senior life, legacy assurance, it could be the simplicity of whatever you want it to be. But what is it about your current business that you just that you really appreciate the most?
Man, nothing gets me more excited than help a team member win. I really appreciate my team. I appreciate because see, they always say you're my mentor. We learn from you, but I learn from them. So I appreciate the energy. I care about them. I really appreciate that. Obviously, seeing your life when you really look at the entire opportunity, it's an incredible opportunity for build a big, big business that I can build nationwide in 40 states. And just all about the legacy, man. This is something that we start now, and we keep going, and we don't know what we're going to get with this thing. This thing can get us huge. We can make millions of dollars. So I appreciate the fact that I have a company that says to me, Ramon, here you go. It's a franchise model. Go build it as big as you want without me having to spend millions of dollars to build it, right? Because a traditional business takes a lot. It's not easy. And I'm not telling you the rest of this business is easy. So I appreciate the platform. I appreciate the technology, the product that we have, that we can, we can literally enroll anyone, whether they have HIV, in jail, it doesn't matter. I have one product for everyone, 0 to 85. I appreciate the residual income that we have. There's so much I could go on and on, Rusty, but this is an opportunity for somebody to come in for $106, get licensed, and build $1 million agency.
That's right.
Like Doug Blake and Mark Tirolia. I mean, how can we not appreciate that? And I was interviewing one of my agents today, and he says, Ramon, it gets tough out there. I said, I know. But life is tough. Welcome to life.
Right.
We're going to get challenged. We're going to beat ourselves up every now and then, and we're going to say, man, I wonder if this thing is going to work. But we got to stay in the game because what's easier? Don't wish things was easier. Wish you were better. And Mr. Jim Rohn will say. Right?
Ron, I want to ask one more question. I'm going to open up the line for anybody on the line here that wants to ask you some of their own questions.
Sure.
The last question before I open it up to the rest of the group here. When you first started, you said it. You just said it. It's not easy. There's going to be some struggles and some adversity. If it was easy, everybody would do it. When you first started your final expense career, and I realized that there was a time when you came on board before you switched over to senior life. So when you first started, looking back on your final expense insurance career, what were one or even some of the biggest mistakes that you made early on?
Man, that's a good one because I tell you, I made mistakes left to right. We used to take paper apps as far as the technical side. And my manager will call me up laughing, Ramon, you screwed that app up, but that's okay, keep doing it. I'd rather you make mistakes and keep working, right? Some of the early mistakes I made, I didn't start building soon enough. I got hooked on writing and making my own money and said, I'm going to make it work. So it took me about 3 years before I started building. I was just focusing on me and writing. So a mistake, I think we should, once you feel comfortable with the business, you can write, start building right away. Don't wait. I waited too long on my first company. Then I started building, right? Some of the other mistakes, I think that's the big one that I see. It took me a while to build, working maybe different territories a little bit more. I kind of like certain area and I stay in that pocket, but I was doing good with it. But it's funny enough, Rusty, because I started hitting my issues and my problems and my challenges like 4 months in. I started off the ground doing really good, and then we all going to go through challenges. But I realized that it didn't matter, that it's just part of the process. Then I started, man, maybe I need these somewhere else. This ain't working, and it was just mistakes. It was in my own mindset. Especially, it was kind of reverse for me. I started having success early on, and then I hit like a little bit of a rot there for a couple of months. But guess what? I pulled through because winners win, and I still did what I had to do. I just knew I had to keep going. I kept getting leads. and I kept going. We should not focus on the cost of the lead. It don't matter. To me, companies financing it, I come out of it. I just kept going no matter what.
Ramon, you made a liar out of me because I said that was my last question before I open it up. Based on your response, I'm actually going to ask a couple more questions. So
that's okay. Hey, I'm good, man. I'm enjoying this, and I'm hoping that I'm answering this the way you want it.
Yeah, you good, man. I know your response couldn't have been any more spot on with If I had it all over to do again, I would have started building sooner. I'm guilty
Yep.
as charged too. I waited 7 years, because I wanted to learn
Okay.
and really master and prove, and put the credentials up to say, 7 years was a little too long, and I wish I would have started building this thing sooner. So, kind of a twofold question is, at what point do you feel a person recognizes that they should start building when they're in a position where they, how do I say this, where they're ready to take on that additional challenge of building an agency and a team of their own? And then two is, why is it important to build?
Gosh, it's like, let me see if I can answer this to the best of my abilities. Once you know that you say, okay, I know my production is going to take a little bit of a hit. I cannot be out there doing 20, 30,000, because if I'm building, now I have to set time aside to help the agents. They're going to call you a lot. They're going to, drive you crazy sometimes, but it comes with a package. So at some point you have to say, okay, if I'm running 15,000, maybe I got to scale down to 10,000 or 8,000, because again, some of my time has to be divided. For example, myself, I'm on the field maybe 2 or 3 days max. I'm still in the field 2 or 3 days. The rest of the days I'm building, I'm coaching, I'm training, but I understood that. And you have to have your finances straight in order to do that, because otherwise you're going to go back, revert, and say, this building thing is tough. People quit. And I'm not being negative. I'm just letting people know what's going to happen. People quit. Now I'm not even writing as much anymore. That mindset needs to shift and understand that in building, you're going to go through more challenges. And you're going to work harder. You're going to work harder. They're going to call you on a Sunday. My wife sometimes says, why are you answering the phone? I said, because one of my agents need me. They're in the field. It's that simple. I need to answer the phone. So understanding that you're kind of pushing back a little to move forward, right? And then to answer the second part of the question that you said, why is it important? My goodness, it's all about leveraging. You make more money when you're building. You help more people.
You can only write so many policies yourself.
You
right,
can only
Ramon?
write so many policies. So it's important to build. And now, some agents come and say, I don't want to build. That's fine. I'm not going to force you. Oh, it's a pain. I did it in another agency.
Right.
Great. But I'm sure you're going to change your mind. And then I have agents that start building, go, man, this is not easy. I said, I know. But it's all good. Keep going. So, you're all about leveraging. I love pouring into people. I love helping people. So I love building. Regardless, and here's another thing, Rusty. This business, you start building your agency. This is what I love about it, right? Everyone can leave, and you just go right. The entire agency can leave, and you can build it again, and you can go write it with your own pen. Well, we're in the iPad, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Write it with your own pen, and you can make money.
How about finger?
You write it with your own finger. So it's rewarding, man. And understand, Rusty, that you are one person away from an explosion. One person away.
That's right. Amen. At the end of the day, guys, real quick, as Ramon stated that I couldn't agree with anymore, is that, building is not for everybody, and that's okay. Some people, they just don't want that challenge, or they don't want the headache of managing other people. They just want to be a personal producer and march to the beat of their own drum. That's fine. And we're going to review this morning in the orientation class. We're not going to take the time and talk about the recruiting incentive we have on a regional level. But whether you're brand new or you've been with us 3 years, everybody has an incentive to recruit without having the added responsibility of managing, training, developing someone. That's the incentive that we have here. But when do you start recruiting? Right away. At the end of the day, guys, look at Ron Powell, for example. You think 9 years, and actually 10 years ago, he would have predicted that he would be, this is a guy who ran 5 miles a day every day. This is a guy who was very active physically. He's an athlete. Racing was his primary passion. He was a big runner. He's very active. And then his whole life changed when he got in that accident, and he was paralyzed from the neck down. So he was 2 years laying in a hospital bed. If he didn't have a group, if he didn't have a pulse, a separate pulse from personal producing, guess what would have happened to his income and his family? He just had been relying on that residual that he had built up to that point in time without a group to help produce for him to keep him afloat till he literally, no pun intended, got back on his feet. he'd be kind of dead in the water. So that's what building does. It's a separate form of a residual income. And you get sick, you get a heart attack, cancer, what have you. Life throws its curveballs. You've got pneumonia. You're at home for 2 to 3 weeks, and you can't go out there and sell. You ain't making money. That's why it's important to build, guys. And I waited just too long as well. I look back. I don't have any regrets, but if I did have it all over to do again, I would have started building much sooner than I actually did. But it's all good. So let me.
And one thing, Rusty, real quick, and I'm sure your team knows this. I tell my team, when you start building and you are in the field, have your agents call me. I help them. You don't have to. We're all a team here.
That's right.
They call me, and I guide them through the process. When they call you, text you, say, hey, I'm titled call Ramon. That's all you got to do. We all help each other. We're all a big, happy family. So, that's how you help your agents build. So they know they have the confidence that you're there for them. So,
Good morning.
Go ahead, Tricia.
How are you this morning? I'll give you some cur. Hola, Ramon. How you like that?
Hola, Tricia. I love it. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I love it.
I have some serious questions, and I want to get the last 2 minutes because Rusty dominated the whole call. So, all right. How many agents do you have under you just on your team?
About 25 right now.
Just Ramon Frias team, that's 25 under you. And
Frias Insurance Group.
And you're trying to hit $1 million this year, like full fiscal year with those 25.
No, with more. The goal is to have way more agents because those 25, when you think about it, it's just like the leads. Out of 25 agents, how many are really, really working? Some are doing a little bit here and there. If they were all working, $1 million would be easy. So I set my goals high. You're going to set your goals high too.
Right. So walking into it, there's going to be full throttle, there's going to be gas, no brakes, and there's going to be the $2,000 a monthers.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But they all up, and you love them anyway because that's all they're going to do, right?
I want to get some expertise. So here's my next question.
Go for it.
Physical real time are you spending with each individual training them?
They have to earn it. If an individual doesn't want it, sometimes we're guilty of wanting more than they do. Right. Now, this is what I tell my agents. When you first come on board, before I even consider giving you leads, I need you to write your own policy, right? And I need you to go write someone else. That allows me to gauge whether they're teachable and coachable. If a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, I can't even sign my mother up. Well, then you haven't earned the lead. See, I'm going to work with those that, those that deserve my time, not those that need it, because everybody wants my time. So I'm looking for signs. Are they really teachable? Are they really following instructions like I asked them to do? Are they iPad ready? Have you been in the website and look at the training that we have? Oh, I haven't got a chance. Well, then you haven't earned the time to go out with me in the field yet.
Amen.
That's how I look at it. So I'm looking for those signs.
You're kind of putting them through a little bit of a probation period, bit of a boot camp. They earn it, and then you're going to go through investing.
Yep.
Absolutely. Show me something. You have to be a part of the product. You need to own your own policy. I don't care if you can only do $25. You got to be a part of the product. So when you are there,
Ramon, that's why you guys are winning. Part 2. You're in Cape Coral or Coral Springs?
You say that again?
You're in Cape Coral or Coral Springs, Florida? Coral Springs.
That's about 20, 25 minutes north of Fort Lauderdale.
So I see it looks like it's a lot of Miami and Atlantic down there. Is there any agents working there in that Gulf section of Florida?
Oh yeah, there's some. When you're talking about on the west coast of Florida, like Fort Myers, Naples.
Right.
Yeah, there's some, not that many. There's some. I have a few myself in there.
I have a friend down there that's not willing to move, but I just wanted to hear what you had to say about that. That lives down there in Venice.
Plenty of opportunity there in that area. Plenty of opportunity.
Yeah. Ramon, you are an inspiration and just charismatic. That voice is where it's at. You just draw everybody in. you. And I watched your interview with Kiki, and I love that. And those ladies down there we want to be like them, So.
Thank you, Tricia. I pass the message. It's my honor, my pleasure.
God bless you.
Thank
Who else
you,
has got a
likewise.
question for
Appreciate
Ramon Frias?
I do. Sacarno.
Soprano.
What's the biggest obstacle that you encounter when training? Like, is it self-concept and or ability? And how do you overcome those obstacles? And when do you cut your losses?
Again, I have to see that, Soprano, I have to see that motivation. A lot of times, if I train an agent, 5 o'clock, they're looking at the clock, and I'm like, hey, man, we're going to 8:30, 9 o'clock. Oh, but I got to go get my kid, and I got to do this, I got to do the other. I said, well, but you knew that time was set aside for this today. So that again, that lets me gauge that they want to cut it short, and they're staying back when I'm knocking on that door. And I see a little bit of uncomfortable. I asked them, I said, what's going on? Oh, I don't know if I can see myself doing this. Well, why not? Because see, when you're out there, you can see their demeanor. And once I knock on the door, they're going to knock on the next door. And I say, I don't care if you screw it up, you're knocking on the next door. And I want to see that excitement, that ability to do it. Because, it's like we say, we can fake it till we make it. If they're knocking on the door, but they're like really shy about it, and they're like, I say, forget that I'm here, just knock on the door, make believe I'm not here. Then I'm going to buy you. So if I don't see that energy and I don't see that commitment that they invested, that's telling me that they might not going to make it in the business.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That makes sense.
Thanks,
What was
man.
the second part? Did I answer this?
Well, yeah. Specifically, like, if they have the will to do, you see the ability and the willingness to do, but they may be not as confident, or how do you kind of address that issue, you specifically?
Well, if I don't see they fully confident, I'll tell them, here's the thing. You got to get uncomfortable in order to build that confidence. I'm going to hold your hand because, see, I don't care about the production. I care about the activity. I said successful people act in spite of. Successful people have fears. We have challenges, but we act in spite of. So how do I get more confident, Ramon? I need you to read more books. I need you to work on you because
Amen.
It's all about you. Your business is going to grow to the extent that you're not confident. I need you to go read Think and Grow Rich. Go look at some of the top motivators. Les Brown. Get on YouTube. Type in, how do I get more confident? How do I become a better salesman? Grow, read, listen, keep growing. Because that's what I'm going to pour into you, because once you do that, the rest is easy. See, because of my ability to win in the business was based on my confidence from previous, experiences and the books that I read and so on and so forth. I never knocked on a door before, but, when you're confident, you just do it. You don't have to be good at it. See, the attitude that you bring, if you're not going to do it, you go, hi, my name is Ramon. Forget it. Hi, my name is Ramon. I'm excited. You don't have to be me. You got to find your own, ways, but you have to breathe that confidence. Client can read all over your clothes, all over your body. If you're not confident, if you don't know what you're talking about. So again, it goes back to Sicario, reading and feeding your mind constantly. Hopefully that helps.
That helps.
All right,
Thanks, man.
I want to reserve for one last question for Ramon before I try to close this out. So if anybody has one question, this is your shot. Get it out now. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to spit it. Who's got a question? Who wants to take advantage of this opportunity and pick Mr. Ramon's brain? Anybody else? A few more quick questions, Ramon. No matter how good a person is, you're gonna have some bad days and some bad weeks from time to time. So, when you're a personal producer, 100% full time, how did you overcome those challenging moments in your career?
One of the things that I did, again, I will call my own plan. I say, hey man, this is what I'm going through right now. If I'm consistently, I don't want to say failing, but I'm not having any traction. People are not home. I'm leaving sticky notes, and it's 5 o'clock, and I'm going, man, it's one of those days. And the next day, the same thing. I stop my car for 5-10 minutes, and I will just listen to something to inspire myself. Or I will call my wife and say, hey, honey, challenging day, but winners win. and I pump myself up. I just shake it off. I say, hey, it's part of the process. Keep going, buddy. Keep going. You're a champion. You're a winner. Self-talk. See, successful people focus on possibilities and opportunities. And successful people focus on obstacles and fear. So my thought process is my goals and dreams, Rusty, my goals and dreams are bigger than my obstacles, my challenges, and anything in front of me.
Say that one more time, Ramon. Shout that out. Shout it out. What did you just say? That was poetry.
My goals and dreams are bigger than my challenges, my obstacles, and anything in front of me.
Did you all hear that? Did you all hear that? When you got those rough patches, you got to look over the top of those and look at that. Keep your eye focused on the bigger picture. There's going to be challenges and adversities and struggles along the way. It's part of it. It's called life. It's business.
Yep.
It's not perfect. But if you focus on the prize and the goal at hand, you're going to get through those rough patches and get to the promised land. Can I get an amen?
No doubt, brother. Woo! No doubt, man. It's like I love that quote because I look at it even when I'm like, hey, I'm human. My goals and dreams, man, are bigger than my fears, challenges, and disappointments. Absolutely, brother. And you got to stay pumped and fired up and say, man, I'm alive. I'm alive, man. I have another chance to win. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep fighting.
So I had two more questions. I'm going to skip one because I've got really enough time for just one last question. So let's finish this off on a high note. Ramon, my final question to you is, what advice would you give someone who is fairly new with our organization?
Man, I tell you, number one, seek help up. Reach up. Don't reach down. Make sure that you surround yourself with the people that are winning, with the people that are getting the results, with the people that want you to win. Unfortunately, when you're new, everyone is going to want to help you. Do this, do that. But what results are they having? If they're negative, stay away from them. Nothing personal, so business. They could talk to you, try to say, hey, they calling me, I'll be right back. Stay away from negative people. Stay away from people that are struggling because misery loves company. And a lot of agents like to talk among each other. Hey, yeah, man, I got a group of leads in this place and they suck. Yours just as bad. Yeah, my leads were bad too. And now you're getting infected. Stay away from that. Reach up. Call Rusty. Call your manager. Call people that want you to win. Stay away from negative people and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Understand the process. Understand that you're going to go through stuff, but it's just stuff. That's the best advice I can give you. It's just stuff. Reach up. Reach up and be teachable and coachable.